The Earth, the blue planet we call home, is filled with things that make even the human imagination falter. There are places where, when standing in front of us, we cannot distinguish the boundary between reality and dreams. Today's journey will take you through 10 of the most fantastical wonders of the planet, where each scene is both a work of art of nature and a story written by millions of years of changes in the earth and sky. 1. Son Doong Cave, Vietnam hidden. Deep in the heart of Phong Nha, Ca Bang National Park, Quang Binh Province. There is a world that, if you have never been there, you will hardly believe it exists on this planet. Son Doong Cave, a natural wonder likened to a door opening to another planet, is the largest natural cave in the world with a length of more than 9 kilometers. There's a cave dome up to 200 meters high and 160 meters wide, enough to swallow a skyscraper. This place is not just a void in the ground, but a closed, pristine ecosystem surrounded and protected by limestone walls that have stood upright for millions of years. Light filters through giant sinkholes, shining down on the cave floor like sky lanterns, awakening a tropical forest inside the cave, where trees, vines, and even insects and birds live as if completely isolated from the outside world. The underground river winds through emerald lakes, reflecting light in magical colors. Stalactites and stalagmites tens of meters high rise up like giant sculptures, each vein telling a story of time. The journey to Son Doong is not for everyone. You will have to overcome a distance of 4 days and 3 nights, trekking through forests, wading streams, climbing mountains, and camping in the darkness of the cave. But it is this hardship that makes the moment standing in the heart of Son Doong a once-in-a-lifetime experience. The sound of flowing water blends with the sound of wind echoing through the stone arches to create a primitive harmony, making you feel like you are lost in the dawn of the earth, when everything was untouched by humans. In 2025, scientists discovered a new species of coral in the cave called Calipium bricatus, proof that life is still secretly thriving in a place that seems to be just a land of rocks and darkness. Son Doong is not only the pride of Vietnam, but also the dream of travelers around the world. Once you set foot here, you will understand why people say Son Doong is not simply a destination. It is an encounter between humans and the silent greatness of nature, a moment when even imagination must bow before reality. 2. Angel Falls, Venezuela. In the pristine wilderness of Venezuela's Canaima National Park, where sheer cliffs touch the sky, a stream of water falls from the sky to the ground, as if poured from the hands of the gods. It is Angel Falls, the world's highest waterfall, with a total height of 979 meters, of which the water freely falls 807 meters before hitting the mossy cliffs. From afar, Angel appears like a soft white silk strip falling straight from the sky to the deep, dissolving into a misty mist that wraps around the old forest below. The name Angel comes from Jimmy Angel, an American pilot who accidentally discovered the falls in 1933 while on a gold mining mission. But the locals have long called it Karapakupai Meru, Fall of the Deepest Place, a name that evokes a sense of mystery and sacredness. The water originates from the top of Oyan Tepui, a giant tabletop mountain that is millions of years old and can only be reached by crossing winding rivers through dense forests and wild grasslands. The journey to Angel is a true adventure. You fly to Canaima, a village deep in the jungle, and then continue by boat along the rivers, passing rapids and rapids. As the boat gets closer, the distant sound of falling water echoes, at first like the wind, then growing stronger into a pounding drum, making your heart beat in time with the waterfall. In the sunlight, the mist rising from the bottom of the waterfall refracts into rainbows, as if nature is secretly painting a picture only for those who are patient enough to come here. Angel is not only a wonder of heights, but also an ecological treasure. Located in a UNESCO World Heritage Site, it is home to countless rare species of flora and fauna, from brightly colored birds to seasonal wild orchids. And then, when the dry season comes, the water level drops, revealing the giant rocks behind the falls, revealing the veins of time carved out over millennia. Standing in front of Angel, you will clearly feel the fragile boundary between reality and myth. This is not just a waterfall, but a reminder that our planet still has magical hidden corners, where beauty and mystery blend into an epic song that humans have only heard the first few notes of. 3. Vinicunca Rainbow Mountain, Peru. High in the majestic Andes of Peru at an altitude of more than 5,200 meters above sea level, there is a mountain that, when viewed from afar, looks like someone accidentally dropped a giant woven tapestry on its slopes. Vinicunca, also known as Rainbow Mountain, is a work of art created by time and the earth, where layers of red, pink, yellow, green, brown, and purple overlap like soft silk ribbons winding along the mountainside. Each color is a trace of minerals that formed millions of years ago and were buried under thick layers of ice and snow. It was only when climate change melted the ice that the painting was revealed brilliant and overwhelming. The journey to Vinicunca begins in Cusco, the ancient capital of the Inca Empire. From here, you must travel over 100 kilometers of mountain roads, then continue climbing through rugged trails amidst cold winds and thin air. Every step is a test of endurance and will, but the higher you go, the more the scenery opens up, and when Vinicunca appears before your eyes, all fatigue disappears. The mountain seems to tell an ancient story, not in words, but in colors. For the locals, Vinicunca is more than just a beautiful sight. In Andean culture, it is a sacred mountain, a symbol of Pachamama, Mother Earth. They believe that the bands of color are the veins of the earth and sky, the thread that connects humans to nature. Every year, traditional ceremonies are held on the mountainside, where prayers are sung to the wind, sending wishes for good harvests and peace to the sky. Standing on the top of Vinicunca, the cold mountain wind blowing through your every breath, you will feel small in the vast sky and the endless mountain range. There, time seems to stop, and you will realize that there is beauty that only appears when people are patient enough, respectful enough to listen to the story that nature has spent millions of years telling. 4. Chocolate Hills, Philippines. In the middle of the Philippine island of Bohol, spanning an area of about 50 kilometers, there are more than 1,200 strangely regular pyramidal hills that look like giant candies scattered across the ground. People call this place Chocolate Hills, not because it is made of cocoa, but because the dark brown color of the grass in the dry season makes the whole land look like a sweet party. In the rainy season, a layer of green covers each hilltop, creating the feeling that this place is alive and breathing. And when the sun comes, everything turns into giant chocolate balls, sleeping peacefully in the golden light. Geologists believe that the Chocolate Hills were formed from limestone and dry soil, eroded by wind and rain over millions of years into a pyramid shape. But locals prefer to believe in legends. One story says that these are the remains of a battle between two giants who threw rocks and soil at each other for many days until they became tired and became friends, leaving these hills behind. Another story tells of the sadness of a lovesick giant. When the girl he loved died, he cried until his tears ran dry, leaving behind the hills. Today, the Chocolate Hills are not only a symbol of Bohol Island, but also appear on the Philippine 200 peso bill, along with the image of the tarsier monkey, a rare endemic species. Visitors often visit scenic spots such as Carmel Peak or Sagbayan to see the panoramic view of thousands of hills undulating like ocean waves. In addition, riding ATVs around the foot of the hills, crossing bamboo bridges, or visiting the Chocolate Hills Park are all unforgettable experiences. When the sun sets, the last rays of the day spread over the hilltops, turning them into golden candies. You will understand why this place is called the wonder of the country. Standing in the middle of that scene, we see that nature sometimes has a sense of humor, creating works that are both spectacular and sweet, making people smile when looking at them. 5. Zhao Pass, Dolomites. Italy, perched at an altitude of 2,236 meters in the midst of Italy's majestic Dolomites, the Zhao Pass, Passo Zhao, is a soft silk ribbon that weaves through the sharp rocky peaks, connecting small towns like Cortina d'Ampezzo, Colle Santa Lucia, and Selva di Cadore. The winding road hugs the mountainside, with each turn revealing a new picture. Sometimes a lush green valley, sometimes a silvery white cliff that juts straight into the sky. From here you can gaze out at the famous peaks of the Dolomites such as Marmolada, Palle di San Martino, or Pizboe, each with its own beauty and changing color with the light of the day. Before the 1970s, this place was just a small path for local people, steep and full of dangers. When the modern road was built, Zhao Pass became a dream destination for tourists, photographers, and professional cyclists. The average gradient of more than 9% and the winding roads have turned this place into a famous stage in the Giro d'Italia and Maratona delle Dolomites, races that make cycling enthusiasts feel excited just by mentioning the name. In summer, Zhao Pass is a trekking and climbing paradise, where trails lead you to peaks like Nuvolao or Avarao, through carpets of wildflowers blooming in the sun. In winter, this place is covered in a soft white coat of snow, turning into an ideal playground for skiing and ice climbing. When the sun sets, the sunlight dyes the cliffs pink. The whole space is immersed in a surprisingly gentle beauty. Standing on the top of the pass, taking a deep breath of fresh air and letting the mountain wind caress your hair, you will understand why the Dolomites are known as the mountains that dance under the sun. And Zhao Pass is one of the most magnificent stages for that dance, where beauty, challenge, and history blend into an experience that once you set foot on it, you will never forget. 6. Pamukkale, Turkey. In the middle of the Büyük Menderes Valley in the southwestern Turkish province of Denizli, Pamukkale appears like a white dream in the blue sky. The name Pamukkale means cotton castle in Turkish, and when you look back from afar, you will see the white terraces stacked like frozen clouds, stretching from the mountainside down to the valley. It is hard to believe that this surreal beauty was created entirely by the hands of nature over thousands of years. Pamukkale originates from 17 hot springs where water rich in calcium and minerals flows from a height of more than 200 meters. As the water flows down the mountainside, it comes into contact with the air. It precipitates into pure white limestone, layer by layer forming rounded terraces like natural swimming pools. The water temperature ranges from 35 degrees to nearly 100 degrees, making this place a famous resort and healing place in the Greco-Roman world since ancient times. On top of the Cotton Castle are the ruins of the ancient city of Hierapolis, built in the 2nd century BC. The city was a center of religion, culture, and medicine, with a large theater, temples, and massive public baths. The most famous of these is Cleopatra's Pool, where the Egyptian queen is said to have bathed in the emerald green water amid the marble columns that have fallen to the bottom of the pool. Today, Pamukkale and Hierapolis have been recognized by UNESCO as World Heritage Sites. Visitors coming here can not only admire the pure white wonder under the sunlight, but also soak in the warm mineral water to feel the magical combination of nature and history. In the afternoon, when the sunlight dyes the entire Cotton Castle golden, each lake reflects the light like a mirror, creating a shimmering picture that no artist can recreate. Pamukkale is not only a visual treat, but also a testament to the resilience and patience of nature. Every step, Every pool is the result of thousands of years of sedimentation, so that today people can stand here feeling as if they are lost in a mythical land. Lençóis Maranhenses, Brazil. In northeastern Brazil, in the state of Maranhão, there is a landscape that, when viewed from above, looks like an endless white strip stretching to the horizon. Lençóis Maranhenses, meaning the sheets of Maranhão, is the only desert in the world where hundreds of turquoise lakes are hidden among the soft white sand dunes. This seemingly contradictory combination has created one of the most surreal and surreal landscapes on the planet. During the wet season, from January to May, tropical rains fill the sandy valleys, creating crystal-clear freshwater lakes. The water varies in color from a soothing blue to a brilliant emerald green, depending on the depth and sunlight. As the dry season sets in, some lakes dry up, revealing a silky sandbed, but others remain watery, nestled deep in sand dunes protected by wind and terrain. In particular, some small fish have evolved to survive by burying themselves in the wet mud during the dry season and awakening when the rains return. The ecosystem of Lençóis Maranhenses is incredibly diverse. Flamingos, herons, tropical perch, and countless reptiles and insects thrive in this seemingly inhospitable environment. To get here, most visitors start in the town of Barreirinhas, then travel by jeep or on foot through the cotton-soft sand dunes. Some choose to ride camels or take boats along the rivers that wind through the area. The best time to visit is from June to September, when the lakes are at their fullest and the skies are clear. At sunset, the red sun reflects off every ripple, turning the desert into a giant mirror of the universe. Standing there, you will clearly feel the poetic contrasts of nature, a land that is both arid and full of life, both harsh and gentle. Lençóis Maranhenses is not only a wonder of Brazil, but also a testament to how nature knows how to break the usual rules to create miracles. It is an invitation for those who dare to enter the land, where desert and sea coexist, and leave with a heart full of unforgettable images. 8. Meteora, Greece. In the middle of the plains of Thessaly in central Greece, giant sandstone rocks up to 400 meters high rise into the sky like pillars of the gods. At their summits, ancient monasteries stand, suspended in the clouds. The Greeks called the area Meteora, meaning the things that hang, a name that both accurately describes the landscape and evokes a sense of mystery. These rocks were formed some 60 million years ago, through the uplift of the strata combined with wind and water erosion, leaving behind nearly vertical cliffs. Hermits and monks came to Meteora in the 9th century, living in caves among the cliffs to escape the chaos of the world. By the 14th century, to protect themselves from invasion, they began building monasteries on top of the rocks, structures that had to be hauled up using pulleys, rope ladders, and giant baskets. At its peak, Meteora had 24 monasteries, but today only 6 remain, each housing precious Byzantine frescoes, ancient manuscripts, and centuries-old religious relics. Stepping into a Meteora monastery is like leaving the modern world behind, surrounded by the scent of incense and windows that open to the vast mountain views below. Today, thanks to the construction of stone paths and stairs, access to Meteora is easier. But standing at the top still makes your heart skip a beat. At dawn, golden light floods down the cliffs, bathing the monasteries in a divine glow. At dusk, the shadows of the rocks and clouds merge, making Meteora seem to melt into the sky. Meteora is not only a natural and architectural wonder, but also a testament to the perseverance and faith of man. Amidst seemingly unconquerable rocks, man has found a refuge for his soul, where amidst the clouds and mountain winds, prayers fly far and wide. 9. Marmolada Mountains, Italy. In northeastern Italy, amid the majestic Dolomites, Marmolada stands tall like an ice queen, with Punta Penia Peak at 3,343 meters, the highest in the region. On the mountainside, the white cloak of the Marmolada Glacier stretches out, sparkling in the sunlight, reflecting the blue of the sky and the silver of the mountain rocks, creating a scene that is both majestic and dreamy. From afar, Marmolada stands out among the pink and gray limestone peaks, like a shining pearl of the Dolomites. But its beauty also holds a deep history. During World War I, Marmolada was a fierce battlefield between the Italian and Austro-Hungarian armies. To survive in the freezing cold, soldiers carved deep into the glacier, creating an underground city with tunnels, barracks, and hospitals, known as the White War. Today, the War Museum in Punta Sarauta preserves artifacts and stories from that time, a reminder that even the most beautiful places have witnessed painful moments. Marmolada is a paradise for adventure sports lovers. In winter, it attracts skiers and ice climbers. In summer, it welcomes trekkers and mountaineers. From the top of Punta Pania, the views are so expansive that on clear days you can see the Swiss and Austrian Alps. A modern cable car takes visitors over steep cliffs and across carpets of blue ice to get closer to the heart of the mountain. However, Marmolada is also facing major challenges from climate change. Its glaciers are melting rapidly, and in 2022 a section collapsed, claiming the lives of several climbers. The event is a wake-up call, reminding us that natural wonders do not last forever if we do not respect and protect them. Standing on the Marmolada, with the cold wind blowing in your ears and the scent of fresh snow in the air, you will feel small before the majesty of nature. And perhaps in that moment we understand that this beauty, both fragile and eternal, is a precious gift that the earth gives to those who know how to listen and preserve it. 10. Stratford Ridge, Switzerland. Located in the upper reaches of the Alps in northern Switzerland, Stratford Ridge is like a dragon's back winding between the clouds and the green valley. At an altitude of 1,925 meters, it opens up a view that embraces the snow-capped peaks, the grasslands spread like a carpet, and the turquoise lakes reflecting the sky. The air here is so pure that every breath is full of energy, carrying the scent of fresh grass. The journey to explore Stratford Ridge usually starts from the small village of Walser Rowan. Visitors can choose to take the cable car or trek from the village to Ebernab, then continue along the approximately 2.7-kilometer-long trail to Stratford Ridge. For those who love challenges, the entire 5.5-kilometer-long route from the foot of the mountain will be a memorable experience, when each bend opens up a new scene, sometimes a babbling brook under the forest canopy, sometimes a slope with brilliant wildflowers. On the way, you will come across the deep blue, calm Lake Shabsi and the famous Astre Stone restaurant, which serves dishes with the rich flavor of the mountains. When you arrive at Stratford Ridge, if you are lucky on a clear afternoon, you will witness the setting sun pouring golden light on each mountain peak, and below is a sea of clouds rolling in waves. That moment makes time seem to stop, and all worries seem to disappear. Stratford Ridge is at its best in the summer and fall, from June to October, when the meadows are lush and the weather is ideal for outdoor activities. But winter has its own charm too, when the snow blankets the mountain range, transforming it into a skiing and ice climbing paradise. Standing on Stratford Ridge, you will feel the generosity of Swiss nature, both majestic and gentle, both vast and close. And that is why this place is considered a gem.